Hi guys, you're here with Carl, Lima and T at the third phase. Today we've got a special guest, Jeffery To'omaga-Allen. This will be our third phase for this podcast, so we're really looking forward to it. We talk through life, coming overseas, growing up in Porirua, and his rugby journey so far. So until next time, what am I saying?
Actually do that, so fine.
Thanks for tuning in. Now roll the tape.
I can't even hear myself. There we go. What's up, boys? We're back. Third phase.
Back.
And a really special one. It's our first guest on to the podcast. Our good friend, long time friend, Jeffery To'omaga-Allen.
Yo, thanks for having me on the show, I guess.
For those that don't know you or those that don't know you very well, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. Jeffery To'omaga-Allen, just a half-caste kid from Porirua, playing footy over here in England now with my bro Lima and the other boys. So it's pretty mean, man. I'm just buzzing out now, like seeing us all here. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I think we were saying before, it almost feels more like home because it's just familiar faces, right? But then kind of even buzzy going, well, we're sitting here in Warwick.
Yeah.
And you forget almost that we are in Warwick. How have you been settling in?
Oh, man, awesome. I really love it here. It's been, I guess, like the transition's been quite easy with having family here. Like, when we first got here, me, my wife, and my son, we, were staying at Lima's house for a week. And then he was on holiday in Turkey. And then they had like a basket of goodies for us. And we were like, yo, So, open arms and food is always the way to my heart. So, now it's just easy. And I really love it here. Like, my son's happy and my wife's happy. So, as they say, happy wife, happy life.
Long may it last, fella.
And rugby-wise, you've had 2 games now under the belt.
Yeah, 2 games. It's very different, like in terms of the speed of the game, and very set-piece orientated. But, I think if I have a few more games, then I'll find my groove. But I really love it. Like,
Tell us about that charge down attempt, mate. What was going on there?
I just felt like the boys needed some energy. But just a brain explosion. Oh, not really. I didn't know that was a rule. And we were playing in Northampton, so it was so quiet. Like,
because that's a typical thing of the English cards, isn't it? So whenever a kicker goes to
it was so quiet,
silent,
and then so I didn't really say it loud, but I guess it was pretty loud.
Bro, you could hear it from Leamington, G, in Northampton.
Oh, bro, it was good. It was a good laugh for the boys too. Like, my phone was blowing up.
Yeah.
From you guys and then all the boys on the field, off the field, and the team it's just I guess a window into who I am as well. Like, just that kind of energy guy, like, try to be funny but dry. So it was a bit of a brain explosion, but it's funny, So my first kind of welcome into the UK footy.
No, that's sick, man. And like, I suppose for people who don't know our backstory, so Jeff is an old boy of Wellington College.
Yo.
And we all went to school together. So back from 2004, me and you were actually in the same form class.
Yeah, bro.
9SW. So we're going way back. Miss Sawyer was our form teacher. But we all met at Wellington College and we've, I suppose, remained closer to be sitting here now in Warwick, like I was alluding to. And it's pretty mad. Puts a lot of things in perspective.
But how was your junior high school, bro? Like, do you think your rugby started from then or like?
Yeah, I guess the seed was always planted like at school, Wellington College, a prestigious school for footy, for rugby. But I always had the dream when I was young, like, you wanted to be. I think I told my dad when I was 8, I said to him when I was playing at Norths, back in that day.
Norths Bulldogs.
North Bulldogs, man. I said to him, look, I really I'm going to be an All Black one day. I said and then I kind of forgot about it. And my dad reminded me when I was at, at Cole, like. And then once I hit sixth form, I kind of thought, man, I could actually have a crack at, being a professional.
Because were you like growing up were you making rep teams and things or were you like a part of the system early on or how did that work?
Yeah, I think, not really like under 13s and that. Because I was from Porirua, I played like in Western Bays and stuff. So, and we didn't really get a lot of like really get a look in, because the city teams, you'd know, like being from the hut, like you didn't really get a look. So you kind of had to play above and beyond, like what so you could get a look at the rep teams or making your name known. So yeah, that was always the dream, to try and put my name out there, I guess, coming up.
Yeah, nice. Good. And so your dad was your coach back at North, is that right?
Oh man, yeah, way back. My dad coached me. Like,
how was that?
It was different. Sometimes he made me walk home, like, like I'm like, hey, this guy. So I had to walk to training or run to training, do training, and then had to run laps. Being a prop, like, being a bigger kid, chubby kid, still chubby, so it's all good. But yeah, dad was coaching. It was cool, man. It was cool being around dad.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And then moving into Wellington College, how was it being, because I suppose me and you were, like, Wellington College is a predominantly white school, and being a Polynesian trying to fit in, how did you find that aspect of it and that, I suppose, that challenge, if you will?
Yeah, I didn't really... the funny thing is that because I'm white, like, I'm a half caste, but I have fair skin, I sound like a Māori, which is like, a lot of kids mocked me for that. And then, I don't know if people from back home would know this, but like Jeff the Māori, like the cartoon series, people started mocking me and stuff. But I guess when kids started talking to me, they kind of took me for granted in terms of, just being that kid from P-Town, like being that kid from Porirua, the white guy, the token white guy that sounds black, kind of, it's really, that's kind of how I rolled, like. And I guess I adopted that, and I just thought, just keep being me, like.
Yeah, I remember in school you just used to own it, like that was you were with your people.
Yeah,
hate it or love it kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was good because I did, blend in with both sides, the white kids, skater kids, like I still remember kicking it with the white boys, and then all the brown boys on the terraces, like, I could kick it with both crews, but I didn't really think it was separated or anything. I just thought it was me, like. It's so good.
Nice, man.
Had. It's good to see you guys, man. It's crazy, like, seeing us all together. I was buzzing now that you guys wanted me on as the first guest. I was like, Lima asked me, I was like,
you were just the easiest person.
Yeah.
I knew you'd say yes.
I was like, oh, yeah, sweet.
Had no choice.
Yeah. And so I guess through school, always thinking you were going to be professional rugby player.
Yeah.
I think even when you were at school, we knew that you were going to be onto greater things beyond that.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
So how do you go by managing that? Because I think
when you're at school,
because I think what I think does happen is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is that guys who do really well in school, they almost in the world where it's kind of all coming for them, and then and then there'll be some challenges. I know you've had some challenges kind of post high school as well.
Yeah, like, I mean, like these days, like nowadays, people are getting picked up at school straight to the big leagues, like coming out of school, being big prospects, clubs and stuff are pumping money into school kids. Whereas, when I was at school, academies kind of had just
that idea was just starting,
of school. Like, 'cause I didn't start weights till I was like 17, like late at school, like. But these days,
kids are doing gyms at the high schools now, right?
Yeah. Gyms are like pumped up. Like, there's money in schools for kids to really excel in their sport. So, like, which is a good thing.
Do you think? And I think this was coming in as you were almost on your way out, your prime first 15 years, where there's a lot of college sport rugby being on TV, recorded live. Do you think Do you think that's having an impact? Because now you see it. There's almost dedicated days, or traditionals are always on there, particularly the big ones.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that annoys me is like kids are just doing it for TV's sake. Like, they're trying to be the man. Like, people need to earn their stripes at school. Like, I felt like, I don't know about you, Liams, but UT as well. Like when you're at school, you want to earn your stripes, but now things are being televised and people are pumping money into you. So kids have their hands out, instead of hands up type thing, asking for things, give me this because I deserve it. Like, kids think they're very deserving these days. Whereas back in our day when we were starting out, there wasn't TV. Like our games weren't showed on TV, so we were just trying to earn that respect, from other schools as well as for yourself and the pride in the jersey. Like, and then I guess that just made us play better, I don't know. I guess that's my point of view.
I think it's almost is a little bit of that overnight success feel a little bit, isn't it? Because you get these guys and they may get, you'll see a few highlight clips of them on all over Instagram, and some obviously some great tries and something I could never be able to do. But I think that it can build into this
it kind of
unhealthy culture where you're going, well, and then they may not be actually as good a player as you may think.
And I think it also takes away from like the work ethic behind what you're doing. So like if you're scoring flashy tries and all, that's cool. And there are some talented like kids out there, but people don't see the work that you put in behind closed doors in that school age, like, or maybe they do now. It's so evident in social media and stuff like that. So people are trying to push for that. Oh, look at me, like I should be making it. I should be televised, kind of thing, in school. So I think there has to be a balance at school grade of getting a balance, definitely of getting your education first, as well as playing your best footy.
Yeah. So actually, just another question, because I know this was part of your decision making process. Yeah. Is do you think guys who do make it through all the way to the professional levels that you have to go to one of the big rugby schools to do it?
I don't think so. It does give you.
But do you think you have to be a little bit, almost extra if you're coming in playing Division 2 rugby through high school, that you have to be that look?
For sure.
If you were possibly that same level but at a bigger school, that you would then get...
Yeah, I think you do get more of a look into rep footy, and if you're at a bigger school, it's just how it is. Coming from Porirua, a lot of the school kids out there, they're very, very talented, but they're not getting a look.
So talented, like some of the schools we used to come up against man.
You definitely get a handful of guys who are something else, right? Yeah.
Who can't actually afford to go to, the big prestigious schools. But then you're seeing a lot of schools offering scholarships to these kind of kids now, which is great for them because it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think at first, probably when I was closer to school age, you'd get angry about it, but you go, well, these kids weren't going there anyway, so it's giving them a little bit otherwise.
We're mature now, like in hindsight, we can look back.
And you got kids now, right? Yeah. So.
But then at the time, you're like, these guys, poaching, these guys give me scholarships out. But like, I think looking back now, and I think it's great for kids that are, don't have the opportunity to go to bigger schools and could create opportunity for them to provide for their families in the future, as well as probably get a better education. At these bigger schools.
Absolutely.
Which is,
I think there's no doubt that going to Wellington College, my career now and even living wouldn't have happened, and living in London wouldn't have happened otherwise, right? So it's one of those things.
Education and me, I don't know why I'm talking about education, but
well, I think it's just the opportunities, isn't it? The kind of the people you meet and the friends you make. And
for sure.
I think you're not having that, and you and I, Jeff, growing up in Porirua, particularly the Creek, it's like, there's not a lot of opportunity going out there. And you don't know
what you don't know. Essentially.
You don't exactly right. You don't know what you don't know, because in the bubble you go, wow, I don't know what's out there, right?
100. Before I went to school in Wellington, I didn't know that there was a Wellington.
Yeah,
like beyond the motorway.
I've been there once. Before I'd gone to school.
Straight up, my wife laughs about it now, but that's all I knew. Just the bubble. Like Cannons Creek was my home.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Tite Bay was as far as kind of.
Yeah, I think it was you and my cousins who mixed as well. They're the only white people I knew before.
Just quickly, Jeff. So for those people who don't know, can you explain to us sort of Porirua and where you're from? Like, can you explain that to the listeners? Obviously.
Man. So Porirua is based in Wellington. It's a smaller city. Very culturally diverse. A lot of Polynesians come from this area. Samoan heritage, Tongan, just a lot, or even Indian, a lot of Indians as well. Just very mixed cultures, but Polynesian influenced, and it's just a cool little city. Like, but in saying that, there's people like talk down on Porirua. Like, it's one of those cities where if you come from Porirua, they're like, oh, oh, you come from that, you out those ways, oh, you're from Porirua.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I'm very proud to be from Porirua, and it's funny because the boys give me stick because I moved to Wellington. You know, I actually moved to the city so that I could go to Wellington Cole, and people say that it was a cop out. But you know, you grow up somewhere, and you're always gonna rep that. You know, and I said to when I met my wife later down the track, I said, look, I want to move back to, you know, Porirua. She's like, why? She's a city girl, Wellington city girl. And she's like, why do you want to move there? And I was like, man, that's my home. Like, that's where I grew up. I want to give back to that community, you know, so I ended up moving back. But in terms of the city, it's just very culturally diverse, and it's cool, man, because there's so many, what I see now is an older dude, and going back to that community, there's so many kids out there that were like me, a lot of half castes, but very talented and very creative, man, that don't get this avenue like in the city. So it's not a hick little town, but you know, it's very what's the word, like socioeconomically low. Wow, look at me, the education. But you know, like, yeah, it's just a little bit lower. Like, there's our schools and stuff as well, you know. So that's kind of where I come from, like, and I'm proud of it. TJ Perenara comes from there. Everyone, you know, knows Porirua from him, but and that's cool. Like, I'm proud of TJ for putting us on the map too. Yeah, because that's great. Like, you know, and I hopefully, you know, I can give back to the kids out there and be proud of where you come from. You know, Jerry Collins, another awesome rugby player coming out the hood. Like, it's cool, man.
Yeah, I think TJ put it quite nicely. Where he's gonna say, when you're growing up, you're like, oh, I can't wait, you know, I'm going to get out of here almost. It's almost, you feel that, and then, you know, you and I both from there, you go now, you're like, oh man, I ripped that, you know, big time, you know. Like, you're like, roots, right? It was like, you know, if you're from New Zealand, you're like, nah, I'm from Porirua. Like, Wellington, I only say Wellington because you'll know where Wellington is, you know.
For sure. And I think for me, like, it is a bit of a balance because I grew up in Porirua, and then I lived in the city for school, and then kind of moved back after, you know, things went down with my parents. But you know, like, moving back and being a city kid, so I had the best of both worlds, you know. You know, it was great, and I'm really thankful that I got an opportunity to go to Wellington College and really, live it out, man.
Do you think you had a bit of a chip on your shoulder coming from a place like Porirua?
For sure. Especially being, it's an automatic stigma. Like, people look down on you. Like I was saying, like, because you're from Porirua, they're like, oh, you're from that area. And it's like, man, why do we have to have that stigma? I might sound like how I sound, and like, people might not expect that, but it's where I grew up and who I am, you know, and I'm very, very proud of it. Like, you know, I grew up more so with my my Samoan side, my mum's side, and you know, they say it takes a village to raise a kid, you know, and I was definitely raised by a village, like, which is my family, my aunties, my uncles, you know, all my cousins are like my brothers and sisters, like, and I'm very, very proud of that, you know. So I only have one sister who I'm really grateful, but grateful for, but man, you know, all my cousins, they're like brothers and sisters too.
That's bloody.
Yeah, hard. That's cool, man.
That's me. I really rent that.
Your first 15 life, obviously, you guys played together for a long time. Some successes, some few near misses.
Hard. In my final year, because you guys repeated it.
Maybe.
Leslie. No, we went top 4 in my year. I was very privileged to captain that year too, but we bombed it in the top 4, so we lost against De La Salle and then St. Bede's, so boys kind of gave up. Like,
what were
we were right in it though. Like,
we were.
Both games, they were right in the mix.
We were right there, but
just a few.
Couldn't fire our shots.
Errors,
But even winding back the clock from that, so when you, like, that was your final year of first 15.
Yeah.
Lehman as I second to last. But you actually made it in 5th form, right, as a prop.
Yeah.
And you were, like you said, you were quite late in the gym, so you weren't in the gym yet. And I remember, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but even the word around school was like, oh man, Jeff made the first 15.
Yeah.
You remember? And it was
I do remember that, like, and that was that chip on the shoulder too, like, you know, people didn't expect that as a prop. This young kid, you know, making the first 15. But I'll be honest too, like, when I was younger, playing under 15s, and because before first 15 it was under 15s. Before that it was like, I was soft. I was rated as soft, you know, like I was a soft player. And like, I'll take that on the chin, because even coaches were saying that. So when I made first 15, in my 5th form year, was really like a learning curve for me, learning from the older guys.
Yeah.
I think we played Gisborne boys, and I won't lie, I was sacking it back then.
That's some scary ass Māoris though. You go up there, man.
They're all like men, you know. And that year I got injured really bad. Like
You
I tore
dislocated your. What happened?
my hip. Oh, so it was in a scrum.
Yeah.
Like, you know, pretty much got pumped, bro, in the scrum.
It was this national tournament, right?
This was a national tournament, and we had some big names. I think at the time it was Buxton Popoli and Charlie Ngatai was the
Yeah, they were the two big dogs on the
big
North
dogs,
Island.
you know, in the North Island, and both went on to play for, you know, great footy for some good clubs professionally. But then in that year, in that game I got pumped, and the scrum pretty much collapsed over me. And being in the front row, so it collapsed over me. But I tore my adductor and my hip dislocated. So I was put straight on the gas, straight to the hospital. And funny because my grandparents live in Wairoa, and they were there, and they just looked over me. I just remember looking up, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm crushed here." And my granddad just laughed at me. He just laughed. I was like, "Oh man, get me to the hospital, like get me out of here." But that was like a big learning curve. Like, you're not playing with kids now. These guys are big. So if you're playing first 15 at fifth form, you better step up, you know?
Yeah.
So then I guess after the injury, came back and just thought, man, I got to be a harder dude. Like,
Yeah.
And I think I really earned that, you know, like.
Yeah, man, you came back like that sixth form year. You were a beast, like one of the best. Went from being a outsider prop, maybe regarded as a bit soft, to being one of the best props in Wellington, right?
Yeah, and I think I clicked on that, the fact that people regard me as soft. You know, and I think it really kicked off my future career in terms of not trying to be a hard dude, but you know, like just trying to stay in there and be, you know, and fight the fight, you know, and don't quit, don't be a quitter, you know, and that kind of stemmed from that point.
Yeah.
Which was cool, man. I even picked up rowing, in the off season, like.
That's right. You came back trim, man.
Yeah, bro. I was like, man, I got to get fit. Like, so what can I do? Like, so I just did everything I could, and then even tapped into that mental side too. Like, I think Lima was the first guy I saw with like a book.
Did he read it though?
Yeah, like a book to write notes and stuff, and quotes from Kobe and Michael Jordan, you know. And I was like, flip, I need to tap into that mental side too. So that's why I kind of kicked off my career, which was cool, man. Yeah.
So you finish school, and then what do you do from there? Like, what happens?
Oh man, I finished school, and I figured I may as well go to uni and be a teacher, because my parents, my dad didn't mind what I did, but my mum, you know, wanted me to go to uni, and my nana as well, my mum's mum. So I thought, I'll go do my BA in education. I had to do the bridging course because I missed out on some credits or something. So
Just came back with muscles.
Should have repeated.
but I knew, man, I wasn't going to repeat. Man. But when did that? And then I think I was in academy as well, like, you know, 2009. Oh, yeah, 2009, I was in the Wellington Academy playing club rugby. I decided to go and play for Marist St. Pat's, because I was living in town. Living in town, and yeah, man. So I went to Marist.
What made you, so you're one of the young prodigies coming out of school, were clubs kind of lining up to try and sign you and stuff? What was that like?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Like I was like, damn, people are interested in me. I thought, to be honest, oh sweet, I'll go back to Norths, because that's the club I played for. It's deep in my heart. Like,
And at that time, they were dominating club rugby.
Yeah, they were dominating. The coach was keen on having me. So, like, the coach took me to lunch, and I was just like, hey, coaches are taking me to lunch. Like, so then I started having meetings with a few club rugby teams. And then I think the thing that stood out, you know, for Marist was I was living in Wellington at the time. So North was all good, but it was just a bit far to travel.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I didn't have a car or anything after school.
And then academies in Newtown as well,
Yeah,
right?
academy was in the city as well. So I thought, oh yeah, may as well stay in town. And then the thing that stood out was the coach was Kevin Horan. He's a like old stalwart for the club, just a very hard man, like old school kind of hard, you know, rugby. And I thought, oh sweet, I'll go to this club, because he said to he was the first guy that said, oh, as long as your mum's happy, then you know, if your mum's happy for you to come to this club, then I want you to come to this club. And he also didn't promise anything.
Yeah.
I did, if I was being honest, I did get a lot of promises. Oh, you play Prem, top league rugby, you know, like, oh, you play this and that. But
we'll get you a trades. We'll
get you this and that. But Marist didn't also offer me anything. They said, you'll come in and you're going to play Colts. And I was like, see, I don't want to play Colts or senior first. And I was like, sweet. Like, I know, I guess I had a mature kind of mindset in terms of being a prop. Like, I have to earn my stripes, like I was saying before. Like, you know, as a prop, it's just experience. And playing with men is very different to school. So I thought, okay, sweet. And I wasn't the biggest guy, like, coming out of school. Very athletic, I'd say. Fit, but not big.
Yeah.
So I just went to Marist and earned my spot in the Prems. I think I only played, like, I would have played 3 or 4 games off the bench in the Prems my first year out of school. You know, compared to these days, kids are coming out of school playing Prems and
straight away.
Full season,
and I'm like, damn, well, good on you. You know,
And
that's cool.
How did you find the balance of it? Because I know a lot of guys, and I remember when we were young and like Lima was in the academy and stuff as well. How did you find the balance of being in that Wellington rugby program and I suppose the pressure to become a professional, but then you're turning up and playing senior first or the Colts and you're not really getting a crack? Like, did you find that struggle? Because I know some guys did, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
To be honest, like, I guess the only expectation was from everyone else. I didn't, like I said, like, I didn't really expect to play Prems my first year.
Yeah.
But I did because, I mean, I guess I was good enough, you know. But being a prop, a tight head prop, you know, you have to earn that experience and go through it, like, coming out of school. So that was always my mindset. And being in an academy, I knew I would have opportunity at some point. So, I mean, I just tried to really, in whatever team I played for, just really tried to make my mark. And I think I did. Like, and I always, and I'd say this in confidence too, like, I've always been a good rugby player, but not a good scrummager. So scrummaging for me was learned to love it. I learned to love it. I didn't always love it because who wants to be in the front row smashing, you know, your head? But now
you love the sweet science now.
Love it. Like, you know, it's the dark arts, man.
Tight head prop the way.
Pardon?
Tight head prop the way.
Yeah, tight head prop.
Yeah,
bro.
second highest paid.
Well,
players in the
you
club,
know,
apparently.
Apparently. Nah, it's cool though, man. Like, I love the dark arts of scrummaging and being in the front row because it's one of the only places where you do go 1-on-1 versus your opposite.
Yeah.
Your opposite. So, like, it's actually really cool in that aspect because it comes down to who's stronger and who's more technically sound.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I've had my fair share of being dished up, you know, at the pro level too. So, but it's only ever made me better and want to be better, you know. That's why I really like playing, and that's kind of why I didn't mind playing senior first or Colts back in the day. Like, you got to earn it, man.
We see a lot of these props, they mature a lot later, don't they, in their careers, where you got guys even playing beyond 30, which is almost,
man.
You see, say, wingers or fullbacks, they drop off earlier, right? So it's almost the opposite of that timeline.
Effect, I mean, I remember when, you know, a guy that I really respect, Owen Franks, cracked the scene in the All Blacks. You know, he played, I'm pretty sure he played at test level at 22, goes on to play 100 test caps for the All Blacks. That's a big thing to do.
Unheard of, eh?
It's unheard of, man. You know, guys are tight head props and props in general usually peak at, you know, around, you're looking at 26, 27, probably 27, you know, really cracking, like playing their best footy in terms of scrumming well, and then, you know, getting around the field just because of experience. And I was always taught that. So, and I think I'm playing some pretty good footy. So picked up a contract. So that's
got a job for a wee while, yeah?
So going back, I guess, now into the UK, 3 months in, roughly.
Yeah, about 3 months, eh?
That decision making process, or well, actually, sorry. Let's go back even further. So let's talk about probably the Hurricanes career.
Ooh,
Yeah, I suppose you signed your first Super Rugby contract without playing ITM Cup, which was pretty unreal. And you had just come off a big injury, is that right?
Yeah, so I tore my I was in Lions, which is provincial rugby. I was in Lions kind of camp training, and I tore my hamstring off the bone. Like another scrum injury, I think. Like,
getting pumped again.
I think it was in like a warm-up drill. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't warm or something. Anyway, tore it off the bone. So I thought, sweet. I'm like, oh man, it'll be a couple of years till I make pro. But then not out of the blue, but Super Rugby teams were interested in me. Like, I think the Highlanders were keen. I remember get a message from Lima, like,
Uncle Jamie Joe, eh?
Uncle Jamie Joe, like,
His contract got 2 weeks, sign it.
Yep, it's pretty much. Eh?
Got 2
flew me
weeks.
down, bro. They flew me down. I remember meeting up with Trebes, talking about like how much they want me and stuff like that, and I was just like blown away. And my agent at the time, I didn't really want to leave Wellington or Porirua. Like, I was like, man, I've always wanted to play for the Canes. I've always wanted to play for Wellington. Like, so yeah, and the Landers were offering a bit of money, and I was like, man, coming out of school and not having a contract, you're like, oh, yo, keen, like. But I thought, I'll just wait, and then I get an offer from the Canes, and I'm just super blessed. Like, it's a little bit less money, but I'm like, yo, I don't care about the money right now. I'm keen to just settle and
Just the opportunity.
yeah, the opportunity.
Yeah.
Man. So I'm always down for opportunity, man.
Which is such a mature decision, I think. I think if I was there, your age, I'd just be like, show me the money.
You'd be in the octagon.
Yeah, down at the Octi, Scarfy
man.
life. Yeah, they would have
bro.
got me.
Well, like, I've been with my high school sweetheart forever,
Yeah.
So I was with Mags,
Always
still
remember.
like after school. Well, we can get there later, but
We got all day.
I've been with my high school sweetheart for forever. So she was a big part of why I wanted to stay, and also I'm my mama's boy, bro. So
Yeah.
I wanted to stay with my family, like my cousins, my nana. Like, I just wanted to stay and just give it a crack here in Wellington at the time.
I suppose representing Wellington, you're
Yeah,
also
man.
representing your family. Like, those are your roots. That's your.
Oh, for real.
That's what
And
made
also
you,
put it all on the map. Like,
Yeah.
we talked about it earlier. Like, I just really wanted to show kids from Mount Porirua that you could make it. Like, you could really crack it. So it was very exciting times, and man, yeah, I was just grateful to. I'm forever grateful to Mark Hammett because he gave me a shot. He'd been through some tough times, kicking a lot of big names out of the Canes.
That's right, yeah.
I came in the year after, or the dramas, quote unquote, went down. So it's just awesome to get an opportunity,
So you obviously you signed that contract.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah. Oh, bro, hard.
And then what's the process like? Did you get to make a debut in your first year, or how did that all? How did that all play out?
So 2012, we're doing. It's 2011 at the time, doing preseason, World Cup year. So it's a bit longer preseason, and I'm just trying to earn my stripes again. Being a young player.
So who were the other props around you at that time?
At the time there was Ben May. He was our tight head. You had Michael Bent. These are just guys that were there.
Yeah.
Ben May had been around the traps for a while. New to the Canes as well. He'd played for the Chiefs. So he was a big signing, and then and just a young guy myself and a few other props as well. But in terms of tight heads, those were the names. So I thought, oh yeah, sweet. I'll ride. I'll be playing like for development or something like that this year. But I ended up getting a crack. First game, Stormers, 2012. It's my debut. I don't start. I come off the bench, and I actually shaved my head. So I shaved my head
Like bald,
like zero.
like skinhead.
It looks whack. And I'm looking back, and I think, why did I do that?
It's too late, isn't it? Once you do one line.
At the time, I did it because I wanted to look more ruthless than what I thought I was. And I'm not lying, bro.
Did you have tape around your head as well?
No tape, just straight.
Kinda baldy.
balded. Yeah, bro. Which is funny as, but stood out, like a dog's hind leg. But man,
And is that over in South Africa or at the Cape Town?
this is in Newlands, South Africa.
Oh.
30,000 in the crowd.
Spot.
Crowd is going off, hate us. Like, they hate us, but I love it. I'm just loving it. Like, the crowd is loud. I run out and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
My debut game, and I got to debut with, my boys like TJ and Brad. We go on to play, a lot of games for the Hurricanes, which is
And
a
you guys
proud
grew up
feat for
playing
us.
rugby and stuff?
Yeah, we grew up playing against each other at school and, for each other in academy and stuff. So it was really cool, man, to get that debut. and I'm just forever thankful and blessed to Hammer, like I said, like just to give me a shot, a young guy, and I end up playing like a lot of games that year. I think
you played 100 games though, for Hurricanes.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
played 100
that's
games.
Crazy.
Like I honestly didn't think I'd play 100, but I think after my 50, I thought, man, like I'm gonna go all the way. Like I'm not leaving until.
It's a special club too. You know, the names in that 100 Super Games is not easy any day of the week. Yeah,
I just thought like, people do it, you know, but it's actually quite hard to stay injury free for one, and to be signed
and stay on top, right? To be still be picked,
to still be picked. Like, and up until till I finished my career, I think I did start a lot. I think I only got dropped once, which I'm thankful for, but that was because of performance. Like I only got dropped once for performance, or twice. For performance, not gonna lie, but not 100 games. Like I'm very blessed, man. Like, and I think it just comes down to hard work and dedicating, yourself to your craft. You know, the dark arts, man.
So if you saw like a up and coming prop, you know, what are the kind of the three things you would tell him to go? Well, these are the things you need to work on.
Don't rush to try and be the man. You know, because you'll get found out pretty quick in the front row. Like. You know, if you could have all the talent, you know, like cliche as, you know, have all the talent in the world, but if you're not willing to work hard, then it's not worth anything. It won't pay off. You know, especially being a tight head prop. Like I'm still learning now, like being in this environment over in the UK, like it's a different style of scrummaging. So I have to adapt and adjust my game, which is great for me, you know, like I played last week, got pumped a little bit, I won't lie, I got pumped. But like as a tight head, I'm like, oh man, this is a new challenge for me to be better. So now I've played 100 games for Super, but now I'm over here in the UK Premiership League. So I wanna make waves over here, but I have to, you know, learn the dark arts all over again in terms of this side of the world. So I guess mainly working hard as a front row, like as a tight head prop. If you're trying to crack it as a young guy, bro, own your craft and learn to love what you do. Because if you don't love it, then you won't be in there for long.
Yeah.
I see a lot of young props coming up. They're mean players, like good ball runners, good tacklers, but they don't like scrummaging.
Yeah,
and it's like, bro,
it's
you're
a big
gonna
part
learn.
of the game.
You're gonna learn, man. You want to earn money, you're gonna learn. Like I don't know what that's like, but but you know, like in all honesty, yeah, man. If you want to earn good money in the time that you're in this game, bro, you got to learn and own your craft, like really, and adapt and adjust, man. Because not everything's perfect. Like,
and how did like being a prop over that 100 game career?
Yeah.
How much focus do you put on learning? Like, because scrummaging was constantly evolving, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the rules changed throughout my career, but I think a big thing for me was definitely having Ben May at the club, but then also Ben Franks coming to the Hurricanes. You know, all black prop coming from a really well organized franchise at the Crusaders, and then him just bringing his whole personal professionalism to the Canes. That really changed my whole mindset of how I should be playing the game, and also what kind of prop I wanted to be without losing myself and trying to be like someone else. So yeah, man, you in this game, and I know Liams can probably testify to this too, you have to learn, always be a student, like, you know, always be a student of the game, because if you stop doing that, stop loving what you're doing, then you won't flourish, you know? Yeah,
for sure.
So I guess like that in every environment that you're in, like in life, you know, you want to keep learning, keep adjusting to, you know, what you're doing, and you can only ever better yourself. So nice.
So you obviously played for the Hurricanes and stuff, and then, you know, like myself, very lucky to go on and wear the black jersey. So, you know, like, what was that like, and how special was that? Because, it's hard to explain to people who haven't been there, but when, you know, obviously I've been lucky.
Should me and Carl just leave or what?
But, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
The feeling is like, it's like no other, you know.
That was Japan 2013?
2013, yeah, Japan 2013. I actually played loosehead prop, like, because I don't know, adapt and adjust. Like I said, you got to take a shot, man.
Roll the punches.
I think one of the boys got injured, so I ended up getting my debut at loosehead. You know, but just the feeling of being named in the team, and just I think the proudest moment, because after 20s, New Zealand in the 20s, the last time I did the haka and did the anthem was in the final of under 20s. I think that was 2010 against Australia. And I was thinking to myself, literally, the next time I do this, I want to be doing it, and I'll only be doing it for the All Blacks. And to get that moment of doing the anthem and the haka, I was thinking, and I was crying, like, thinking to myself, I did it, like, you know, I said to myself, the next time I do it, I'm going to be an All Blacks. And it was, like, just an unreal feeling, like, other than having my son and getting married, it's probably one of the proudest moments of my life.
What's a realization of a 20-year dream, right? Yeah, and not everyone gets to say that a boyhood dream is comes to fruition.
Yeah, like going back to that time, I told my dad.
Yeah, right. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, 8 years old, like, and I funny because I rang my dad and I said, "Oh, Dad, like I made it, I cracked it, I made the All Blacks," and he's like, you know, he cries and he's very proud of me. But I just thought back to that moment. I remember it vividly because throughout the time you forget, you know, like you're a kid, you know, you forget.
Yeah.
But then the time I was like, yo, I remember the time now. Like I told my dad, you know, at Norths on number 1 field after training, you know, didn't want to walk home. I said I'm gonna be an All Black, and just making it was, awesome, man. It was such a good feeling and very proud moment, you know, playing in that black jersey. You know how it is, Liam's like just second to none. So very proud, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a really small club, and it's not easy getting in that, right? So
yeah, it's not easy, man. And then like I didn't go on to play, you know, 50 test matches or whatever, but getting my one opportunity, man, I'm forever grateful for that. You can have all these people say, oh, he's just a one-trick pony or one-off. That was a one-off, whatever. But hey, did you do it?
Exactly.
You know, like I'm forever grateful just for getting to put on that black jersey, you know, so.
And what's your All Black number?
1130.
Yo.
It's almost unbelievable, the power of the black jersey, right? Well, we were just talking about today, you saw photos of them with the Houston Rockets NBA team.
Oh, bro,
and you're going,
crazy.
Not many teams, you know, you don't see other rugby teams just walking in. And, Harden, Westbrook, you know, this whole Rockets team going.
Taking selfies, you're like, hey.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Right? Yeah.
Well, small jelly.
Yeah.
It's the opportunity that you get in that jersey too, to just see the world and stuff is just, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
You know, you travel the world and do great things, like, and you're so respected, man. Like when you have the All Blacks jersey, or if you've played for the All Blacks, man, it's just the amount of respect goes to a whole nother level, you know?
Man, even like for me, and I'm obviously not an All Black or anything, but just the people even doing the podcast, like, oh, Lima's on your podcast, and like, what, like he's an All Black. At first they're like, oh, how much are you paying him to be on the podcast? I was like, no, he's our mate. He's actually like an idiot. You know, but like the amount of respect people have, and then even going to when Lima debuted and stuff, going to the games here, like some guys were like, oh, I don't know his name, but I know he's an All Black. Like, it's just, I just need to get a photo with him. You know, like just the respect prestige that the All Blacks are held at historically through rugby is just unbelievable. And you only get that perspective until you're on this side of the world, right?
Yeah, for real, man. And even being in the environment, like the amount of history and tradition they teach is just, it's amazing. A real eye-opener, man. Like it's really awesome to be involved in the history of that jersey. You know, you learn a lot of the tradition and culture of who they are as the All Blacks and what's been and what's about to come, you know. So, and why are you playing in that jersey? Not just a rep team. You know, it's you're representing the whole country. Yeah. You know, which is could be a lot to bear on your shoulders, but you know, so you either gonna walk towards it or cower away. You know.
Yeah, particularly in New Zealand because it's so small.
Yeah.
All eyes are on you, right? 4 million, 5 million people. Are, you know.
I think the thing that kept me grounded was. Like, you know, having all those eyes on you was the fact that I was one of those eyes. Like I was that kid looking up to Nimia Tialada, looking up to Carl Heyman and being like, I want to be like that. I want to be that guy, you know. And then having become one of them and earning, you know, my All Black number, I was like, man, I'm doing this for the kid out there that wants to maybe be like me. Like, I'm not saying everyone wants to be like me, but you know, maybe like, and now having a son, I'm like, man, hopefully he wants to be like me. Like, you know, so it's just a very proud time in my life. It was very proud. moment in my life.
All the free
Awesome.
gears and free travel.
Oh yeah,
bro.
that's the bonus, you know. Free gears, man.
I remember when we went on that end of year tour, and we caught up with Carl.
Yeah, bro.
And was it Brixton?
Brixton, yeah.
Yeah, remember? It was his birthday.
Yeah. We went to dinner.
We went to dinner and we went to that Jamaican nightclub or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Bro, it was pumping. And we were
Yeah,
like, fuck, this is crazy.
because that was your first time in London. Must have been that point.
Yeah, that was first time in London. Yeah,
That's
in
all,
the UK.
feels like ages ago. Yeah,
Yeah, because that was like that was the second time I got called back into the
that's right.
All Blacks frame, you know, because I missed out through injury and maybe performance, I don't know. But being called back was mean, like, and thinking to see you guys, like, you over here on this side of the world, like, it's just crazy. Man.
Yeah, it's a fuzzy feeling now. Yeah.
Well, the fact that rugby bring me to the other side of the world and getting the opportunity to see my mate, like, on his birthday, you know? Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
So I think we just have to go back. Back to the Hurricanes, where bit of heartbreak, but then bringing joy to the city.
Yo.
I know you didn't play the final that
Yeah.
year, but what, that Super Rugby, the near miss in 2015, obviously to Lima, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you talked about this in the last podcast.
Yeah,
I was like, we were in the change room, and I was like, bro, why do you have to talk about your like accolades, man? Take it away from us, like. But because the Landers coming up, or they were the underdog team, 2015, come up and they deserved to win because they were the better team. Like, they played better than us, and it was a heartbreak, you know. Like, I mean, damn. And from that final, I was like, damn, we have to come back, like 100%. We have to come back to the final, like, because I'd say, like, before Hammer came in, I'm not sure if there was a culture of trying to win championships.
Yeah.
You know, trying to create a dynasty.
Yeah.
At the Canes,
because they had some names, right?
Yeah.
Through
We've
the years
always
we were
had
watching,
names.
right?
Oh, bro.
Huge
growing
names.
up, you've had the best team.
Yeah,
You know, the Flashes team, right?
yeah.
But I think the question always overriding the Canes was they had all the names, but they're a good team on paper. But are they a good team? You know, are they a championship team? You know, or is it a team of champions or a championship team? Right.
Yeah.
So then in 2015, we realized the realization was we can do this, like get into the final, narrowly missing out. Then in 2016, it was like, let's go all the way.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to the ship.
And you guys could see that throughout your season. You guys were just on another level, like mentally, just
mentally
switched on
switched
throughout the
in.
whole year.
Great leaders leading us, you know, with Dane Cole's like unreal performance in the final, playing with a broken rib. You know, unfortunately for me, I broke my arm against the Blues just before we entered the quarterfinals the week before. So I was devastated. So when we won the championship, it was very mixed emotions. Very mixed. Because I didn't play.
You want to be out there with the boys.
Yeah. But also thinking I deserve this too, like reassuring myself that I got us here too. You know, I helped this team.
You were a part of the process.
Yeah, I was a part of the process. And I think it did take me a few weeks or a couple of months actually to realize that, man, you know, I deserve that ring just as much as all the other boys that played, you know. So, but it was unreal, you know, it was the first time in history, the Hurricanes.
Oh,
you know,
so much
20 years, like
so much heartbreak for 20 years, right?
20 years, man. You know, and it was just a reassurance of we've had the team in the past, we've got the team now, and you know we'll change the whole culture and identity of the Canes, being, you know, not being cocky, but being regular finalists now. Like, you know, over the past few years has been like unreal.
Because you had that period, I think it was under Hammer. It was quite a poor season.
Yeah,
and then that took, because it was only in the space of about 4 or 5 years, I think, and then that turned, and obviously with Boydie in there.
Because when Hammer came in, his whole thing was changing culture. You know,
and that's not overnight, is it? Really,
that's not overnight. Yeah. So the whole year was finding out who we are in the tough times, what kind of team do we want to be represented as, how do we want our fans to see us and accept us, and grow our fan base as well. Like in Wellington, we wanted to pack out. Our goal was to pack out the stadium. And I think by the following year, end of that season, bro, we were hitting huge numbers. Like, and then I think, you know, you could, not take it for granted, but you know, you just thought that it was. Oh yeah, I think we did take it for granted.
That becomes normality, right?
It just became normal.
You stop. Keep on going at it or attacking that.
Yeah, man. But we had to remember and remind ourselves that we earned that right to get all those fans back, to really earn that right of being finalists, and because it's only ever earned. You can't just expect it to happen. So
well, those finals, it was the hottest ticket in town. I remember it was so hard to get tickets to the finals.
So packed. I don't even know.
And they're doing secret sales for some last minute tickets, extra seating.
Well, it was well worth it, for the city. I guess, making history and seeing the city blow up, like it was awesome and crazy feeling. So, and it's like it's the same feeling that Lima had, like just the city erupts for you, man. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I think it was just being from Wellington. It was just going, find it.
It's like a sigh of relief.
Yeah. So I remember being every year, we just miss out, losing the quarterfinal, or losing the semi or whatever, and you go, and it just keep going on and on.
Well, knowing you have those kind of players playing for
sure,
your franchise, your home, it's like
you think surely
we'll go.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Big old week after you win, eh?
Oh, big old week for the boys, Yeah, man.
Few cold ones.
Yeah, you deserve to. You deserve it. So, the boys go hard.
And then that decision making process now over in the UK, over here, committed here for the next few years with the Wasps.
Yeah, man.
There obviously must have been a point where you're going.
Yeah.
You've been in the All Blacks camp now twice.
Yep.
One test and then a separate game as well.
Yeah.
What's that thinking that you now go, well?
Yeah, I'll be blunt. Like I didn't get the opportunity I wanted, but that's not, I can't control the coaches, like the All Blacks coaches. I was brought into the camps, and I believe I earned it, but I didn't get an opportunity or the opportunity that I wanted really to play on the end of year tours and stuff like that. And I can't control that, and I had to come to the realization, like, okay, do I start to not forget about the dream, and it's really hard, like chasing that All Blacks dream, like the All Blacks jersey, having tasted it, you're like, when do you draw the line? Like, so I think in 2018, at the end of 2018, super season, I'd been involved in the camps, All Black camps and stuff, but not really getting a look in, and not a lot of communication, to be honest, on where I was at. So I thought, it's all good. I think I definitely want to play one more year, but then after that, I'll look to head overseas. So 2019 was my last year. I had achieved pretty much all I wanted to achieve. I played my 100 games. 2018, I played for the All Blacks, and I did that. And as I said, I couldn't control, them picking me. So, all I could control was my performance and how you cope under not getting picked and stuff like that. So I just put my heart on my sleeve for the Canes and just went all out. So, and then I decided to put my name out there on the market, kind of thing, in 2019, really, for the end of that season. So, I guess with the transition and wanting to move, I had to definitely make sure that my wife was happy, like when she wanted to leave.
Happy wife, happy life.
Like I said, happy wife, happy life. And she was ready to leave too.
Yeah.
So it was definitely hard. Like, she was definitely excited when I first said, look, what do you think about, heading overseas? Like, it was eventually going to happen. And she's like, yep, straight away. Yep, let's do it. Let's go. But then it kind of sunk in, being like, with our church family and our friends and our family, it was actually quite hard.
And you've only even really known Wellington, right?
And very blessed in saying that, because a lot of the boys, they move from Auckland or they move from other towns to come and play for the Canes. So relocation is a big thing for them, especially with their families and stuff. Like, to be honest, I think I took it for granted, staying in one place my whole career, like being in Wellington, having played for Wellington and play for the Canes, which are based in Wellington as well. Like, so I was very, very blessed and honoured to be able to stay at one franchise and club. So, but anyway, going back to heading overseas, I think my agent said, look, a couple of clubs are interested. There was a French club that was interested, but I thought the language might have been a bit hard for my son, and my wife too. Just a bit of a barrier. And then the Wasps hit me up So I jumped on and text Lima and text Brad and said, "Yo, what's up? Like, what do you reckon?" Like, and then Lima's like, "Yeah, come, let's go, let's do this." And then Brad's like, "Yo, yeah, let's do this together." So that helped too. Like, I won't lie, like with having the boys that I knew like, over here, I was like, "Oh, sweet, English speaking, London, like, yo, cool, like this." Yeah, I think I'm keen. So, yeah. And that's how I kicked off. I came over, signed for a Moroba and a can of Coke Zero. So
And now you're here, brother.
and now I'm here and I love it. I love it here, man.
And Lima, have you found having Jeff over?
Yeah, be honest.
Bro, it's mean, eh? Like, because I picked this guy up in the morning. So we have our chats and everything like that. And, you know, between us, we all know, you know, like he's a very spiritual man and a man of God. So he brings a lot of, you know, brings a few words to the day. And, you know, the other day you know, his word was Biyi your feeder. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that, you know, just like essentially he was saying, you know, like just worry about today because tomorrow will have its own problems. So that's been pretty cool. And just having his family here, Mags is awesome, and Spencer. So Spencer's is 3, and my daughter Miller's 2. So they like sometimes they love each other, sometimes they hate each other.
Yeah,
they scrap and stuff. But it's been mean. Yeah, it's been mean being able to kind of like show them around, and I guess for us because we've been here a year, we know sort of how tough the transition can be, and to be able to be here and show them the ropes and show them IKEA.
Don't get me started on IKEA, bro.
The cafes and stuff has been pretty cool, but love having these guys here. Yeah, it's mean.
Yeah, IKEA's. If you want to have a fight, we must.
Yeah, that's the recipe.
I think I'm about 0-4.
We'll all be, mate.
Yeah,
There's no.
I said, "Oh no, you want to go? Yeah, you go.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we're happy that you're here. So that's
That's
good.
mean, man. I haven't kicked them with all of us since school. To be honest,
it's sitting down like this, right?
Yeah.
And how are you finding? So, like the team, how does it compare to the other? Obviously, you're an integral part of the Hurricanes, coming from one franchise for such a long time. The new challenge, like, is it refreshing or is it a bit daunting?
That's a great word. It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
So like, coming over here, no one knows my status. Like no one.
Yeah.
Well, and if they did, they didn't care. It's like they think, 100 games for the Hurricanes or whatever. Like, like the players. But so it's really refreshing in terms of having to start again, like a new kid at new school.
Saying earning the respect.
Earning
again.
the respect. Like that was my main thing, and I know for Muller as well. We just wanted to earn the respect of the players first and foremost, and then the coaches. You know.
Yeah.
And I think I'm slowly doing that, or I have done that.
Maybe the charge down was a bit of a
it's a bit of a setback.
Maybe a step back, but yeah, I guess I mean, you know, I love the boys here, like, and the club. It's really cool. Culturally, it's different. Like, I don't know how to explain it without making it sound like, you know, people are bad or anything, but like just culturally, it's different.
It's just people are different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different over here. So, but cool, different, you know.
Yeah.
And I did like coming over here. I wanted something new and a change of just scenery and people.
And it's always learning, right? Like gaining new perspective, opening your eyes, being able to move in different environments.
I love that you said perspective too, because I feel like that's what it is. Like you have to have a different perspective. Everyone looks at you different, or in a good way and bad way. So I really like it. Liking my time here and having Lima and Brad and Muller. We got a good Kiwi crew. So it's good, man.
I know you touched on before that you going to uni teaching. That was one of the. Do you kind of put one eye towards, you know, you probably however long you got left in rugby, kind of post rugby? Do you have any thoughts on what you're looking to do in there?
If I'm sharing my dreams, like I want to own a supermarket one day. Like I really want to.
Good business.
Hire me, bro. Checkout boy. Trolleys.
I'll get you trolley boy, bro. That's the dream. So I really want to open a buy a supermarket and run a supermarket one day, just because of the I changed my degree from education to business. After I kind of kicked off my career, I stopped studying, and I actually changed my degree from education to business and marketing. So I really love that aspect, and I think like as footy players, we see more business ventures and opportunities, in this kind of different kind of bracket. So, but I just really, I want to give back to my community. And I thought, man, the dream actually stemmed from opening an amusement park in Wellington.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, I caught you off. So
At the Walt Disney.
Yeah. Well,
That's me.
having travelled the world and seen different things, you come to the capital of New Zealand, which is Wellington, right? We have great cafe culture, a cool museum, and the beehive for politicians. But what do you have to do?
Yeah.
As the capital of New Zealand, like what's there to show for it? We've got Weta Workshop. Peter Jackson comes from, out of Wellies, like, and creating all these cool movies. Like, why not show? I was thinking, like, when 40 players come to New Zealand and Wellington, if for something to do, they'd go and have coffees, right, or just chill.
Yeah.
But what else could you do on, like, if you're here for a little tour
on your day off?
What
or
can
whatever.
you do?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what if there's like an amusement park? Like, and it just, I could go on forever about this, like, but it stems down to an amusement park, but then giving opportunities to young kids who aren't like really that good at education or, aren't really smart, but they're street smart.
Yeah.
And nobody really teaches you at school about people skills,
This is a big thing.
people skills. And with this day and age, like social media and all that stuff, like I find that kids might be losing that, so I think it's really important that if we can teach our next generation people skills, like running the tills or being welcoming at my amusement park, or just learning different things and little skills in the trade. There's so many opportunity for the next gen, so but then I thought, flip, you need money for an amusement park, so what's the next big thing, so I thought, sweet supermarket.
Well, everyone needs food too,
Everyone
right?
needs food, man. Everyone got to eat.
Food, fam.
Yeah.
Need that food,
Yeah.
fam.
Oh,
But
okay, so that's where. Oh wow, so that's where it's come from. Yeah.
In a small nutshell, like, me and one of my mates just talking about amusement park. I just kind of kicked off from there.
And not as fun as an amusement park, but definitely needed.
Oh yeah, man! Like,
Throwing a few slides.
Supermarket's fun for me because there's food, So being a prop, like, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I would have never thought that, but that's
and the whole business side of things too. Like, 70% of the job in a supermarket, I did some shadowing and a couple of shifts in a supermarket, a couple of supermarkets. 70% of the job is people.
Yeah.
So people skills, So, and I feel like I'm a good people person, but also the other aspects of business in terms of marketing, promoting, working the cash register to stacking shelves, the science of stacking shelves and where food is placed. Like, I can get into all that stuff, but it's all good. It's like another.
we'll leave that for the supermarket podcast.
Yeah.
The supermarket podcast.
5 years time.
One of the things that's been in the news lately is the World Cup, where there's been one of the most disciplined World Cup, the most red cards, most yellow cards ever. We're not even into the knockout stages yet. One of the big thing that's been critiqued is the tackle height, the seatbelt tackle, all of these. Your thoughts on it? I mean, it's been a really different since your 10-year career, especially for a big guy, right? Because a lot of it's the guys trying to get low.
Well, I was just saying, like, you got nippy guys trying to get around us big guys. We're only going to ever try and grab like what we can. We're not ever trying to maliciously take someone's head off. Of course.
Yeah.
But it's just the nature of the game. Like, I feel like, I don't want to say it's getting too soft, or I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that, like, we could manage it better. And like, if it's a chest on chest tackle or shoulder on chest tackle that slips up, accidents happen. Like, that's just how it is. And if you're playing aggressively, then, if you get head rocked, that's on you. You got to run harder, or,
Or evade. You can't be team people.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's kind of my point of view, like, especially being a bigger guy. Obviously, yes, we try and work on our technique to get down and, be copybook tackles, like, make these things, but make these tackles like that. But I don't know. That's
is that something?
thoughts.
Is that something that's being addressed? Do you guys talk about it at the Wasps? Is it training? Is it a review thing that you see?
I don't really make tackles anyway. So,
The question wasn't for you.
Yeah.
so maybe it's on the big guy.
I think, like, they do drill, like, chop tackles, But I guess if you're playing teams that offload and stuff like that, you got to have one chop, one high, right? Like, to wrap up the ball or to stop play from happening. Like you got guys like Lima running around. Bro, I'm trying to take his head off, but nah. But like, I'm trying to stop him from gaining momentum for the team, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not really...
It's a really tough one, because you look at the technique side of it, and obviously rugby has so many variances to take into account in terms of body position, the way someone's running at you or whatnot. But I think it's maybe more down to the refereeing, and I think the World Cup is on such a global scale now, and this is the biggest market event, so they're trying to stamp it out and make it look like a safe, healthy kind of environment. But in reality, I don't think...
It's a contact sport,
It's a contact sport, and it's more down to how you referee it, and the punishment more should be a penalty. Like, we should use a bit more common sense approach, I think.
Penalty would be... You're sending guys off, like... if you're sending guys off for marginal high tackles and stuff, like if you're sending red cards and stuff, that makes you as a player, or for me as a player, more not timid, but more like, can I? Like, the question is, can I be as aggressive as I'm playing? Like, can I really try and head rock him, my shoulder on his chest, or something like that? Like, can I?
That's what you like as a big guy. You love that physicality,
man. Like
of the game, being able to dominate and get in front and get your shoulder on.
Yeah, for sure.
Sort of. So that kind of takes it out a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm saying. Like, and I think if referees are being so pedantic about it, like, where's the game going to end up? Where, like, I think I was telling you, Carl, earlier, like in the NFL, quarterbacks are getting, defenders are getting flagged on quarterbacks just for touching them, like, and being flagrant fouls. Like, it's crazy. Is it going to end up like that? We can't be as aggressive what happens if someone milks it?
That'd be nice as a team, eh?
Of course you say that.
Yeah.
Can't touch me.
Well, because there's a big guy, you're trying not to get whacked out there. And all we have really, if we don't have light feet, then you got to make them stop and not want to run down your channel.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those things, it's in a split second, right? So the problem is when you see these replays, it's slowed right down. But that decision making at that time is, less than a quarter of a second, right? How quick, less than a tenth of a second you're making those decisions.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think of guys like Motu Matu'u, Vaya Fafita, folding dudes with aggressive tackles. Like, if they're making these kind of tackles and dudes are like getting bent, because of the impact, like, are they going to pull out red cards for guys getting dominated, or is that where it's heading? So that just poses the question, I guess, as a player, and as a fan, you want to see big hits. Obviously, you don't want to see people get hurt.
Of course not.
You don't want people to get concussions and all this, but these people are being paid to play professionally, for entertainment, as well as, trying to be the best at what they do. So,
do you think it makes the game look less attractive to play? If you're a young guy, or that you...
that's a hard one, because if you're a young guy, you're only ever going to learn what's being taught, right?
Yeah.
Coming up, like, you're only ever going to learn, this is how you tackle this. You can't go too high, like, in the way that it's going, heading to. Can't go too high, or you can't do this. So I guess that's kind of my standpoint on it.
Yeah. I mean, you'll let Spencer play any day of the week.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, my guy's a musician.
Yeah, he's gonna follow his drumming career from the looks of it. Yeah, he loves it. Well, what's the goal for the Wasps this year? That's the
we want to win, man.
Yep.
And we want to, like I said, with my other franchise, we want to win. We want to win the fans, fans' hearts, and just create that winning culture.
It is a great fan base here too.
Yeah,
I mean, we went to a few games where you guys were doing terribly last year. And still the stadium was still full.
Well, I'm coming into, coming off the back of supposedly a terrible season, like, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I think me as an injected player into this club, like, I just want to change perception of who we are and what we're about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the goal, and win games. Like, Dai's all about winning. So you don't ever go into a game trying to lose.
Of course not. Yeah, so I think we got some Q&As, I think. So should we...
Yeah, there's actually some people that wanted to know about you, mate. So.
Yeah, some people that want to talk to. Yeah, so obviously we put it out on our social media page.
At Third Phase Pod,
yeah.
Instagram.
Third Phase Pod, and obviously plugged it on my own Instagram. But we've got a couple of questions, which I think is pretty cool. Some quite funny ones, some, some kind of more serious ones. But I guess you can answer the
Whatever,
question.
man. Like, yeah, let's
Question
go.
for the fans. You've answered a couple of them, but here's one. So this is from Billy. This is what he wants to know. He wants to know sticky toffee pudding or sticky date pudding.
A sticky date. Sticky date, man.
Yeah. Sticky date
pudding.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
There's another question. So this is a pretty simple one. Pre-game routine.
Pretty simple. Like to chill with the family. Go for coffee and cards with the boys. And I gotta have a scone, date scone. Now that we're in the UK, my wife actually got the recipe from back home from one of the cafes. Good friend of ours, she sent it over. So my wife's been working at that recipe. So she's coming through with the goods.
Game one should be solid.
yeah, hopefully.
There's a question I quite like as well. If the rules had changed for next Rugby World Cup, would you be willing to put your hand up for Samoa?
Yeah,
if possible.
Yeah, if possible, 100. Like I'd love to represent. Sorry, man. My son. He's in the background doing haka, but yeah, for sure, I'd love to.
What about you, Sops?
Yeah, bro, 100%. That'd be mean, but yeah, bro, I'd love to play for Samoa. I know my dad was pretty happy when we played against Samoa, All Blacks Samoa at Eden Park, and Alapati Leua gave me his jersey.
That's
So I
right,
gave it to my dad. And I had a reserve jersey too, and he had a starting one. So I was stoked as. So I was like, oh, bro, please, do you want to start? He's like, yeah. I was stoked. This is a real code head one from Sam. What's your 3 rep max on a bench, squat, and deadlift?
3 rep.
3 rep max.
3 rep max. I'm not very strong upper, so 3 rep would be 150 on the bench.
Solid.
This is in my prime. 3 rep peak. Yeah, gotta take peak.
Yeah, so like, even if it's 5 years ago, like,
I go 150 on the bench. There's kgs, and then squat was 270.
Ooh.
And then what was the other one?
For 3.
Yeah, for 3.
And dead.
And deadlift.
Oh man, so early in my career I hurt my back, so haven't really been able to deadlift, but I'll do 200 easy, but I didn't really push more than that, like, just because what's the point? Like,
yeah.
Deadlift on the field.
Another question. This is from Drew. What do you miss most about home? Obviously, you've been here a short time, but if there's anything,
just the people. Yeah, people is always the one. Family. Yeah.
And I got a couple. Oh, this is a question from a follower of ours. Who wears the pants in your marriage?
Okay, here's my rule. Okay, I'm gonna make this clear, and I've always said this too.
Here we go.
So she wears the pants, but I'm the belt.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm the pants. I keep the pants up. So if you need discipline, I'll take the belt off. Bang. But nah, I'm the belt. I'm the accessories. I'm the pockets. I'm everything else.
Nice.
Yeah.
And there's
Well put.
Yeah.
There's another question that we have, and it's I think it's a question you'll like. Is how has your faith in God impacted the way you play rugby or your career so far?
Yeah, man. Oh, that's awesome. That's an awesome question. I'm a man of God. Like, I'm devout Christian, born again Christian. So, and it is tough in this day and age. Like, with all the dramas that go down with social media and stuff like that, and how Christianity is perceived. But I own it, and if people want to ask questions, if you see me on the street or hit me up on my Insta or whatever, like, I'm always down to answer questions. I never shy away from who I am, in Christ, and who I am as a dad, to my son, as a brother and a son, and a husband to my wife, and a friend to, the boys. Like, I never want to shy away from who I am, but never ever want to press my faith on other people.
Yeah.
Because I think faith is something that you need to find yourself. But I think if I can provide an opportunity for people to find, God or a relationship with Jesus, then I'm doing my part. So my faith, it encourages me to do what I do, and it always keeps me grounded in terms of having gratitude in what I do, because there's more to life than footy. Like, there's more to life, and because I understand that for myself personally, it's one of my biggest drivers, my faith in God. So yeah.
Okay, bro. We'll do 2 more.
I'll try to keep it short, man. I know we've been talking.
No, it's good. It's good.
No, it's good.
This is a question from a person. What are you buying your wife for your anniversary this year? 7 years is copper/wool.
Does she send it in? Copper. Oh man, wool. I don't know.
Can you explain that? So what that means? Like
Copper.
obviously every year it's something
Oh
new.
yeah, so like so every year traditionally, like every year of marriage, there's traditional gifts that you give your spouse. It's more for the husbands really to give, out of the way. I think the first year is like might be paper, and then the second year is wood, then and so on and so on. So if this year's what is it?
Copper/wool.
Copper/wool. If it's wool, I'll just get her some Ugg boots or something. And copper, I don't know. But yeah, man, that's me. That's me, man. Family,
nice,
footy,
brother.
and faith.
Still, I know you've always been into graph.
Yeah.
Still big on that. Or you still need to do our London tour for the.
Oh, bro, I'm keen to do some.
Yeah.
Do some tour. Even put up a piece, hopefully. Like, but I actually went to Birmingham and picked up some art supplies so I can get back into it, and it's a real
I think
big hobby of mine. Like
for as long as I've known you, you've always been into that. So
man, creative. Got to keep the creative juices flowing
for sure.
So that's a big part of who I am as well. So if anyone wants anything, hit me up and I'll.
It's been really good, man. Thank you for.
Honestly, thanks so much for having me, man.
Our first guest down.
Kicking back, yeah.
Appreciate it, brother.
So what do you got? 6 more now?
Just 6 more onto the goal, but take it one episode at a time, as they say.
Very proud of you guys for providing a platform, for players and other people to speak, and you guys just speaking your minds. Like it's cool. It's cool to hear the boys just have chats and
Well, I think you just said the time just flies by, right? You're like, I've been talking for ages, but quite easily.
Yeah, man. I thought, am I talking too long?
No, yeah. So. No, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, for those listening, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to us, share the pod, leave some comments. That really helps us.
Yeah.
With the pod, follow our Instagram at Third Phase Pod. Follow the boys. Continue to ask us questions. Email, DM, send a video if you want. We'll answer everything you can. Let us know who you want on here. We'll try get them on here. But
still earning respect, as Jeff said. So,
but again, thanks to Jeff for jumping on the pod today. It's more than appreciative. And until next time, see you later.
Peace.
I said the stormy days are better, bro. Yeah. Ever since I started telling stories to the metronome, the stormy days are better, bro. Ever since I started telling stories to the metronome, the stormy days are better, bro. Yeah. Ever since I started telling stories to the metronome, the stormy days are better, bro.